Hi everyone, it's Agnieszka Murdoch from 5 Minute Language. Welcome to my channel. Make sure you subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to download your free language learning starter guide from the description box below as well. So today's video is about practicing speaking, and speaking is the one element of language learning that many people struggle with. And it's actually quite difficult to think of different ways in which you can practice the language if you don't live in the country, for example, where that language is spoken. So many people think that moving abroad or traveling abroad is a prerequisite for getting fluent, but actually there's lots of different things you can do even in your own country, at your own home, that you can do to improve your speaking skills. So today we're going to talk about a few different ways in which you can do that. Are you ready? Let's get started. So the first tip I'm going to give you is to think of different scenarios in which you will be using spoken language. So often one of the challenges when it comes to practicing speaking is that it's difficult to actually think about what you can talk about. So you want to be using the language in practice, but what do you actually talk about? It's very easy to run out of topics very quickly if you just focus on talking about your day or talking about your weekend. But if you're at home on your own, you just need to imagine the different scenarios in which you can find yourself when you're using the language you're learning. So for example, imagine that you're talking to a neighbor and you're talking about something that has broken in your house, and you're trying to think of ways in which you can repair it, talk about all the different issues that it's causing you, and maybe asking for recommendations for a workman that can come to your house and fix it. So this is an example of a scenario. Another example of a scenario is you're talking to a friend who has recently lost their job, and they're quite upset about it, they're quite demotivated, they're quite anxious about what comes next. So your role in this situation, in this scenario, is to give them advice, give them reassurance, to talk to them about the different options that they have. Another scenario could be that your friend has got a new job, so you want to ask them questions, for example, about what that job involves. You want to congratulate them, and you want to have a general conversation about the area that they work in. And another example of a scenario, if you run out of scenario ideas, is that you want to explain to a young child how something works, which is a great way to use kind of simple language. So think of a thing, an object, for example, that a child would be confused about how it works. So for example, a mobile phone, and then look up how it actually works and explain it to them in simple terms. That's a great kind of scenario for using very basic vocabulary and basic language. Okay, the next tip for practicing speaking skills in a new language is just describing things that you see around yourself. So whatever it is that you're doing, if you're at home, if you're out for a walk, just describe what you can see. Okay, the next one is one that I have given in my previous videos, and it's about doing mini presentations on a topic. And usually I talk about presentations on a topic that interests you, but in this case, I'm going to give you a tip about presentations on controversial topics. So think of a controversial topic that kind of attracts different types of opinions, and do a presentation about it as if you have a particular stance. So you're going to take a stance that you actually disagree with, because that will give you a chance to approach the presentation in a more kind of active way. If you're talking about something that you actually agree with, you might become a little bit lazy in your choice of vocabulary, your choice of language. So if you take a stance that you really disagree with, it will encourage you to approach it a little bit more actively. So time yourself, say 5 minutes, do a presentation, present your viewpoint. You can record yourself, you can watch it again to see if you spot any mistakes or any areas for improvement. Okay, my next tip is quite an obvious one. It's a language exchange. So, finding a partner online where you teach them your language and they teach you their language, or you practice in a common language that you're learning together. So you can do it on different things like italki, or you can find people in Facebook groups that want to do a language exchange, and you can just connect with them online to practice speaking a little bit. And my final tip is creating a WhatsApp group with other people who are learning the language you're learning. So you can find either people in your personal life that you know personally who are learning the language. If not, you can approach people online. Maybe there are groups that you're part of where you discuss things with other language learners, and there might be people who are interested in joining a WhatsApp group. And having a WhatsApp group is great because you can discuss different topics, you can arrange language exchanges, but you can also do group calls where you kind of have a group conversation, which can be a bit more natural than just a one-to-one language exchange. So I hope you enjoyed these tips. Let me know in the comments what your favorite tip is for practicing speaking the language you're learning. And don't forget to subscribe and download your free language learning guide from the description box below. And I'll see you next time. Bye.